Have you ever felt completely alone while standing in a crowded room? Imagine sharing a home, a last name, and a life with your sister, but losing your soul in the process. This is not a fairy tale about a big happy family. This is the truth about what happens when two sisters marry two brothers and the walls start to close in. Most people think this is a dream setup. They think it means double the love and double the support. But for many, it becomes a double-sided cage. In this video, we are peeling back the layers of a perfect family photo to show you the bruises underneath that no one wants to talk about. We are diving deep into the psychology of toxic positivity. You will learn why staying silent is sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do. Before we start the story of Sarah and Aisha, I have something special for you. If you stay with me until the very end, I will share a specific psychological tool. This tool helps you identify invisible toxicity in your own relationships before it breaks you. You do not want to miss this because it could change how you see your own family forever. Now, let us go back to the beginning. Let us look at the day the first sister said "I do." Sarah was the first to marry. She was the pioneer. The Malik family welcomed her with open arms. Everyone said she was lucky. They were a respected family with a big house and a clean reputation. Sarah felt like she had won a prize. 2 years later, her younger sister Aisha followed her. Aisha married the younger brother. It seemed like a miracle. The two sisters would live under one roof again. They would raise their children together. The community called it a double blessing. They saw the matching jewelry at parties. They saw the sisters laughing in the garden. But this was just a porcelain mask. A mask is beautiful, but it is hard and cold. In the Malik house, you had to be happy. This is what we call toxic positivity. It is the pressure to stay positive even when you are hurting. If Sarah was tired, she had to smile. If Aisha was sad, she had to hide it. To the outside world, they were the perfect family. Inside, they were becoming strangers to themselves. Sarah was the star who did everything right. Aisha became the shadow. She tried to follow the rules, but she started to disappear. No one asked how they really felt. They only cared about how they looked to the neighbors. This is how the pain began. This is how the invisible sister was born. Why do so many families think it is a great idea for siblings to marry into the same house? On paper, it looks like a perfect plan. It is called the double bond. For Sarah and Aisha, it felt like a safety net. They thought they would always have a best friend just one room away. They thought their bond would be their strength. Parents often love this setup because it keeps the family wealth and secrets in one place. It feels safe and controlled. But human psychology tells us that what feels safe can often become a trap. This is where the safety trap begins to snap shut. In a normal home, sisters support each other. But in the Malik house, the sisters were constantly compared. The in-laws would praise Sarah for her cooking and then look at Aisha with disappointment. They would talk about how Sarah never complained while Aisha looked tired. This turned the sisters into competitors without them even knowing it. They were no longer just sisters. They were players in a game they did not want to play. Instead of talking to each other about their struggles, they started to hide them. Sarah did not want to look weak in front of Aisha. Aisha did not want to ruin Sarah's perfect life with her own sadness. The walls of the house grew thicker every day. The very thing that was supposed to bring them together was pulling them apart. When you are in a double bond, your identity starts to fade. You are no longer Sarah or Aisha. You are just the wives. You are expected to act the same, think the same, and stay quiet the same way. The safety they hoped for became a cage made of gold. They were physically close, but emotionally, they were miles apart. This is the danger of the double bond. It replaces real love with a forced performance. The silence in the Malik house was not peaceful. It was heavy. Soon, the first signs of trouble began to show. It started with small things. A sharp comment at the dinner table. A cold look from a husband. A door slammed too hard in the middle of the night. These were the hidden struggles that the neighbors never saw. Sarah and Aisha were living in a house full of secrets. In human psychology, we call this the reputation trap. The family cared more about their honor than the people living inside the home. This pressure to look good created a deep, dark stress. Sarah noticed the bruises on the spirit before she saw them on the skin. She saw Aisha's hands shaking while she served tea. She saw her sister's eyes get red from crying in the bathroom. But Sarah D.I. The broken glass in the kitchen was only the beginning. Soon, the pain that Aisha had buried started to show in her body. This is the physical price of silence. When you don't speak your truth, your body speaks for you. Aisha began to lose weight. She suffered from headaches that wouldn't go away. In psychology, we know that hidden stress can lead to real sickness. But in the Malik house, being sick was seen as another way of being attention-seeking. They told her to pray more. They told her to be more positive. They didn't realize they were asking a drowning person to just enjoy the water. Sarah was watching her sister disappear right before her eyes. The golden sister was starting to feel the weight of her own silence too. She realized that by staying quiet to protect the family name, she was helping to destroy her sister. This is the ultimate cost of toxic positivity. It turns good people into silent bystanders. Sarah felt guilty every time she received a compliment that Aisha didn't get. The sisters were living in a house of luxury, but they were emotionally starving. They had the best clothes and the best food, but they didn't have the truth. Then, the climax happened. It wasn't a big fight. It was a quiet moment in the middle of the night. Sarah found Aisha sitting on the floor of the dark laundry room, crying without making a sound. That was the moment the silence finally broke. Sarah didn't tell her to think happy thoughts. She didn't tell her to be grateful. She simply sat on the floor and cried with her. For the first time in years, the sisters weren't the wives or the daughters-in-law. They were just two sisters sharing a moment of honest, raw pain. The price of silence had been paid in full, and they couldn't afford to pay it anymore. The laundry room floor was where the perfect family ended and the real sisters began. Sarah and Aisha finally made a choice. They chose to be visible. Breaking the cycle of toxic positivity is not easy. It means you have to be okay with people being disappointed in you. It means you have to stop caring about the neighbor's whispers and start caring about your own heart. For Sarah and Aisha, this meant setting hard boundaries. They stopped pretending at family dinners. They started speaking up when they felt mistreated. The Malik family was shocked. They called the sisters ungrateful. But for the first time in years, the sisters could breathe. This is the message for every modern homemaker watching this. You do not have to be a ghost in your own home. Your value is not measured by how much pain you can hide behind a smile. Human psychology teaches us that healing only starts when the truth is told. Sarah and Aisha are still in their marriages, but the rules have changed. They are no longer competitors. They are allies. They realized that marrying into the same family can only work if you refuse to let that family own your soul. They are no longer the perfect wives. They are two women who are finally, truly seen. Now, as I promised at the beginning, here is your psychological tool to identify invisible toxicity. It is called the energy check. Ask yourself these 3 questions every week. Do I feel like I have to perform happiness when I am around my family? Am I staying silent about my pain just to protect someone else's reputation? Does my safe space feel like a cage? If the answer is yes, you are living under the weight of toxic positivity. Recognizing it is the first step to breaking free. Don't wait until you are crying on a laundry room floor. Start being visible today. Your story matters. Your pain is real. And most importantly, you are not alone. Thank you for watching until the very end. If this story touched your heart, please share it with a sister or a friend who might be feeling invisible right now. Let's break the silence together. As we reached the end of Sarah and Aisha's journey, we saw that the porcelain mask finally had to break for them to survive. This wasn't just a story about a family. It was a lesson in human psychology. It showed us that staying quiet for the sake of peace is actually a slow poison. By choosing to be visible, the sisters stopped being victims. They proved that even in the most rigid families, your voice is your most powerful tool. But let's be real. Breaking the cycle is terrifying. It means you might become the bad person in the family group chat. It means people will judge you because you chose your health over their secrets. The modern homemaker often carries the weight of the world on her shoulders. You are expected to be the glue that holds everything together. But remember this: glue that is stretched too thin eventually snaps. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Sarah and Aisha's story reminds us that it is okay to be imperfect. It is okay to say, "I'm not okay." It is okay to put your mental health above a family's reputation. When you stop hiding your pain, you give every other woman in that house permission to do the same. You are not breaking the family. You are saving the people inside it. As we reached the end of Sarah and Aisha's journey, we saw that the porcelain mask finally had to break for them to survive. This wasn't just a story about a family. It was a lesson in human psychology. It showed us that staying quiet for the sake of peace is actually a slow poison. By choosing to be visible, the sisters stopped being victims. They proved that even in the most rigid families, your voice is your most powerful tool. But let's be real. Breaking the cycle is terrifying. It means you might become the bad person in the family group chat. It means people will judge you because you chose your health over their secrets. The modern homemaker often carries the weight of the world on her shoulders. You are expected to be the glue that holds everything together. But remember this: glue that is stretched too thin eventually snaps. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Sarah and Aisha's story reminds us that it is okay to be imperfect. It is okay to say, "I'm not okay." It is okay to put your mental health above a family's reputation. When you stop hiding your pain, you give every other woman in that house permission to do the same. You are not breaking the family. You are saving the people inside it. I promised to share a tool to help you identify invisible toxicity. In psychology, we use a simple method called the 3 pillars of truth. Think of these as a health check for your relationships. Use these to test your environment. Ask yourself, can I say I am sad or angry without being told I am ungrateful? In a healthy home, your feelings are respected. In a toxic home, your feelings are seen as an attack on the family's image. If you have to rehearse your words before speaking to your partner or in-laws, the pillar of safety is broken. Does your family acknowledge the problem? Or do they tell you that you are too sensitive or imagining things? This is a psychological tactic used to make you doubt your own mind. It is much easier for them to call you crazy than to admit they are doing something wrong. A real family faces the truth together. When you are at your lowest point, does the family offer a hand to pull you up? Or do they only offer advice on how to look better for the neighbors? If their first thought is what will people say, instead of how can we help you, then the support is fake. It is just another part of the mask. If these pillars are missing, you are living in a house of masks. You are the invisible sister. But invisibility is not a life sentence. You can choose to be seen. You can choose to speak. It starts with one small truth. Thank you for staying with me through this deep dive into the lives of Sarah and Aisha. This story was long because pain is long. This story was detailed because your life is detailed. If this story felt like it was written about someone you know, please share it with them. Maybe they need to hear that they aren't alone. By sharing these stories, we make sure that no woman ever has to feel invisible again. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the psychology of our daily lives. You are seen. You are brave. And you are enough. See you in the next story.